This is Adomako Man, and you are tuning in to the Producing Peace podcast, a podcast that celebrates the vibrant tastemakers shaping NYC's cultural landscape. From artists to activists, we spotlight individuals driving positive change and shaping the future of our city.
From the vibrant streets of Jersey to the bustling dance floors of New York City, one dancer's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. With a career that includes mesmerizing performances for legends like Remy Ma, Teyana Taylor, and the Backstreet Boys, this dancer has also lent their talent to Latin sensation Yandel and Todrick Hall. Their expertise and passion extend beyond the stage as they inspire the next generation of dancers at Brick House NYC and previously at Bronx Dance Academy. Adding to their impressive resume, they are also a dynamic member of the Brooklyn Nets team Hype. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with an incredible artist who's left an indelible mark on the dance world. Today, I'm sitting with Justin DeSean.
What up, what up? Hey, y'all.
How are you?
What's goody? What's tea?
I'm super excited to be sitting with you today.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I feel like we've been coasting around for some time. Like, I feel like I've seen your socials. You've probably seen my socials.
But I feel like I followed you. It was because you do photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I followed you for your work.
Okay.
And then, we connected straight from there.
Yeah.
And then now we're here.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I feel like I've been wanting to, meet you for so long, but there hasn't been, the perfect opportunity. And then, when I started this podcast, I was like, Justin DeSean.
Thank you.
And so here we are.
Thank you, because it's not a lot of queer podcasts here in the city as well. So, and this would be my only second podcast doing or filming. So I appreciate the invite. I appreciate the connection. I appreciate just the energy from the moment I walked in. So we're lit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like one thing that I'm really interested in is learning about people's stories in relationship to New York City.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are moving here for the first time. They're getting their steps in. And so, I mean, as mentioned, you're originally from New Jersey. So I'm curious to how did you start coming to New York?
So I was born and raised in Newark. My mom decided she wanted to move to the suburbs. So I moved to Sayreville, New Jersey, home of Bon Jovi. Shout out Bon Jovi.
Okay.
So there I started dancing a lot. And at the time I was dancing in church. And this lady at my church, she had a dance program that she wanted to start. So it's more than a dance program, it's a performing arts program. And it consisted of piano, tap, ballet, jazz, violin, vocal, acting. She just wanted to have an all-around performance company, but she held it in the city. So my grandmother at the time, she drives New Jersey Transit.
Oh.
So she was working for the bus depot, and fortunately for me, the bus stop was right there where I need to get picked up at. So every Saturday, I was driving into the city at 9 a.m. to go take these classes, tap, jazz, ballet, modern, African, just working with all these different choreographers and artists in the city. And I fell in love with it. I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And then YouTube came out. So I started seeing classes held at Broadway Dance Center. And there's choreographers like Lawam and Valentine Norton. And I was just like, no, yeah, I want to do that. I need to be there. And so I met a lot of people on my journey from 9 to 16, 17. And they were like, you need to come to the city. You need to train. You need to take class. And at the time, too, one of the guys at my church, he was actually taking classes at Broadway Dance Center. So he was like, look, I'm going to give you a list of people, take their class. And shortly after, as I got older, 17, 18, I went to BDC and I started taking class. And
wow.
Yeah. It's been a whirlwind.
Dance brought you to New York City.
Yes, dance has brought me to New York City and other places, but yeah, this is home for me now, and I feel like New York has really embraced me as well as taught me, you know, how to hustle or how to be, a real New Yorker.
Mm-hmm. You know, so the Broadway Dance Center is like a center that like a lot of people dance at, learn how to dance,
Yeah.
polish their skills. Why is that place such like a haven for up and coming artists or for artists in general?
BDC has a lot of the working choreographers there.
Okay.
So people that have worked with J-Lo, people that have worked with Beyonce, people that have worked with Nicki Jam, just different choreographers. They all are there, and it's one of the most prestigious studios in the city. They cater mostly to the Broadway community, but they also cater to the commercial dance community.
Okay.
They have programs, foreign programs, a pro-sem program. They have people from out of state and just everybody from different walks of life. They go to BDC to experience the New York commercial dance world. And I think that's why it's so popular, because it's just so much traffic and so much word of mouth. And there's so much success that comes out of BDC. Even I had a friend of mine tell me, like, if I feel like if you were teaching at BDC, like you would, the trajectory of your career might change teaching wise. And I'm like, you know what? I see it for that, because, they do have a large following. The energy has changed over the years, but they're always just bringing in new talent and making sure that the staff is capable of building that new talent and capturing what dance in New York is all about, commercially, street dance wise, just any way possible. But I think BDC definitely does hold like the crown a little bit in the city, but there are other amazing studios. Perry Dance, Steps on Broadway is another amazing one. Brick House, of course. Modega in Long Island City, and their foundational based studio.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to CJ at Modega. They have beginners classes, all levels classes, sessions, ciphers, socials. Like each studio caters to the uniqueness of the city. So each borough just has something unique to offer, and each studio offers that for all walks of life. Yeah.
When I think of the dance community, I always think of like movies such as like Honey and You Got Served, and there's one more. It's just like I always think of like the 2000s era.
Yeah, like Save the Last Dance.
That too.
Yeah.
That was the movie I was gonna say. Like, and so I always think about that, and I'm curious, and then like, because I'm not part of the dance community at all. I mean, I know how to dance, I know how to vibe, but like, I always think of like, the dance community as like literally like Midtown New York, and that like there are these artists.
No, baby, there's so much more.
Okay.
So in parallels to those films, with the crews, like we have crews. I feel like those films or TV shows, like So You Think You Can Dance in ABDC as well, inspired a lot of dancers here on the East Coast and West Coast, but mainly in New York, to like just come together and show who's the best of the best. And it's not only in Midtown though. You got Uptown, you got the Bronx, which is the birthplace of hip hop dance and hip hop period. Queens has a large dance community. Brooklyn has a large dance community. Like all the boroughs, even in Staten Island, they have a dance community. Everybody does come Midtown, but that's where all the main studios are. But there are studios in Brooklyn, like Lotus We Create Studios, ran by Jersey. He has a great dance program. Then there's Uptown. They have Cultivate. It used to be Press Play Studios, and that was a Latin-based dance company uptown on the east side of Harlem. But now they have Cultivate Studios. Then there's just groups of people that shout out to KR3Ts, Violetta, Noah, Violetta has her dance program in the east side of Harlem, right in that art space building. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to 99th Street on the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this big, it looks like a school, but they're based out
It's
of
on
that,
Lexington?
like 2 avenues over, closer to Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I think I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
it's
about.
like this beautiful art space that KR3T's rehearses out of, and they're community based. So they take all the community kids, they bring them in, and they teach them their foundation. They teach them all styles: salsa, popping, locking, breaking, light feet. There's a light feet community in every
Oh,
single
wow.
borough. Light feet is one of the main dance styles in New York right now that's popping.
Really? Is
Yeah,
that like...
light feet is get like
Yeah.
get like
Yeah.
So light feet has grown over the years,
Wow.
and that's a large community. You have teachers like E Solo, Know a Lot, Hype Girl, Momo, Kid the Wiz, Waffle,
And these are all choreographers.
and these are all waffle. These are all crews
Okay.
or choreographers that just give back to their community. That extends outside of the city.
Mm-hmm.
We all come together for rehearsals or classes, but the real fun is when you go to the Bronx to a battle, like to Round the Flames.
Wait, is that there's like battles?
Yeah, there's like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you got served and all that is real, but you know, it's the film, but the real dancing happens like at the source.
Oh my God.
Like, Round of Flames has been one of the longest running battles in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have the Snipes events. Red Bull also does battles here in the city sometimes. All Styles battles. Princess Lockaroo, she does a battle where it's called Whack to the Future. So it's a whacking battle, whacking, voguing, house dance. Even Bodega, they host battles, but they also teach classes on how to battle. So if you've never been to a battle or experienced challenging someone else, they give you the pointers and tips. So if you do explore that realm, you're better equipped to be out there versus you just going out there and moving. But there's always a community outside of the main community that we see in the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, I'm sitting here with you. I'm literally getting an education.
Teach the girls.
Yeah.
Put the girls on.
Absolutely. Because literally, I'm like, New York City is feeling just a little bit dull, but hearing you speak makes it feel vibrant again, for me at least.
Yeah. It has its moments where it is a little dry. And we've had, some choreographers from the West Coast come and be like, yo, New York's energy is lacking right now. But over the last couple years, I feel like something lit a fire under New York dancers, and they just started turning up. Everybody has a good class, or there's all these events and resources that we didn't have before. We have a lot of choreographers that were West Coast that are moving back to the East Coast, that are giving back to us in a way that we haven't had in the last few years, especially with COVID.
Right.
And COVID did mess up a lot of stuff, but a lot of us dancers, we just wanted to keep going. We didn't want the momentum to die. So there was very few of us that we were teaching on Zoom. We were doing the outside classes, but only 10 people, 6 feet apart. We were still giving private lessons over FaceTime or Zoom. I was teaching on Instagram Live.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I would sit my phone up and make sure I move my couch, all that. And I was like, you know what? I can't teach, I can't make money, but I can still give people a class that they would enjoy while they're just sitting in their house doing nothing after they just binge watch like 7 seasons of a show. And I did that for a good 2 or 3 months before they started opening things back up again. But New York has its moments where it could be a little but she's getting there. She's getting a lot better.
Yeah. And in the community, how would you describe the dance community? So you're saying that there's a lot of events where people are coming up, coming around.
It's different. Child, she's mixy. The New York dance scene is very mixy, and that's no tea, no shade.
Okay.
But it just like in anything, like when you go to the club and the girls dance to the club, and it's giving real mixy, but it's good energy all around for the most part. you know, we know how to keep it cute.
Right.
And then we're not going to fake it for nobody. So,
Right.
you know, it's kind of, there's certain groups that are separated, and then there are certain groups that click, and then there are certain groups that clash.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're all in the same space, there's a mutual respect that each and every one of us has.
Okay.
That, like, we support each other, we get lit for each other, we turn up for each other, we show out for each other, we show up to certain events. You know, it can get a little clicky sometimes, or gatekeepy. Like, they gatekeep certain things because they want to make sure that their camp is taken care of, or they want to make sure that their people that they're mentoring is getting ahead.
Mm-hmm.
There are opportunities for a lot of dancers to, you know, be a part of a company. Aside from it being mixy, I mean, I think it's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when we turn up, we turn up. Like, we have, for example, showcase. We have showcases. So the newest one is Club NYC, hosted by Charles Smith. And
What's Club NYC?
Club NYC is a dance showcase, a choreographer showcase, where new and old choreographers get to come and showcase their work.
Okay.
And they host it at $3 Bill. Shout out $3 Bill.
That place is popular.
$3 Bill. They have Vogue nights there.
Right.
They have a lot of events there. Yeah, they've really turned up over the last few years. But they host Club NYC there, and there's freestyles, there's DJ battles, there's just so much good energy in the space. Cyberite Love is Love, which is hosted by Dina Shalimar Mott and the late Voodoo Ray. Voodoo Ray passed away a few years ago, but he started the Love is Love showcase, where new choreographers, old choreographers, young, the babies come and perform. And the principle of it is to show love, regardless of where you come from, what your background is in dance, your background in your life. They don't care about that. When you're in this space, you show love. You clap your hands, you stand up, you cheer, because that's missing sometimes. Not everybody's going to cheer for you. Not everybody's going to stand up and clap for you or support you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in certain spaces, especially Cyberite, they're like, no, they're heavy on it. They're like, no, we're going to support each other because this is hard work. People took hours and days to put these pieces together for you to entertain you. Show them love, show them your support, so they can keep going, so they can keep thriving in this industry. And this city is very cutthroat, but if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that there are spaces like that where, you know, we can support each other, and that they exist, because they didn't exist years ago. So now, you know.
I feel like that's so cool and fascinating to like hear your perspective. I'm literally excited to like take the city by storm now.
You have to, though.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take the city by storm, because it teaches you to hustle in a way that, like, all right, I want to live this kind of life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what it takes to make it happen, that's what I'm going to do.
Would you say that Club NYC is like the premier event that happens in the dance community in New York City, or like for example, in the ball community, there's like, you know, like the latex ball. Like, what is like that?
It's on its way, because it's fairly new.
Okay.
So Cyberite, Carnival, those are the like main ones, and then Club NYC is on its way to becoming one of the main showcases.
Like an OTA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which
and
is like
each of them are all hosted like every 3 months.
Okay.
I want to say there's like 2 or 3 showcase. For the year, we have about 6.
Oh, wow.
Which is great. 5 or 6 showcases. So that's more than enough time for people to showcase their work and get themselves together.
How many people show up to this?
Well, child, sometimes they be having 40 acts in the show, 29 acts, and the crowd, it's a mixed crowd. There's people that come in, they're like, oh, what's that? It's a dance showcase. They'll buy tickets. The dancers' parents, like hundreds of people are there.
Wow.
Like, they turn out. they really do turn out for these events because a lot of people want to see who's next. They want to see who's up. They also want to see what people are doing, what they've been up to if they haven't seen that choreographer in a while. But a lot of people do show out to these events, which is really good for us dance wise.
And so, you know, you contribute a lot to the dance community. And one way you do that is by teaching. You currently teach at Brick House. How long has that been something you do?
So I'm gonna give you a little history on my teaching.
Give it to me.
So I started, after I did that program with the lady from my church, I started going to this dance studio in my town called Dance Stop. And it was because my homegirl that I was on my step team with in middle school, she brought me there. So middle school, high school, I did step. She brings me to the studio, all white studio. We're the only two black kids really at the time. We were really good. We had a dance teacher, and towards the end of the year, he did this workshop with another major choreographer, but he didn't show up to work. So he got fired. We had no recital piece, nothing prepared because all he did was teach us. Me and my homegirl, we stepped up and we choreographed our recital piece.
Wow.
The following year, they put us on scholarship. And then my senior year, they allowed me to teach full time. So I was on scholarship, but I was also like co-teaching or teaching and training. And then I moved to the city years later. I taught there for like years, but then I moved to the city. I started teaching at Bronx Dance Academy in 2015. And I got that because of another dancer, Kevin Hazard Holmes. He's a crumper. One of the best crumpers in New York City, by the way. We both were, this is when I was living in the Bronx. I was living right in Pelham Bay. I had needed a job.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't want to go back to Jersey. So I was like, I need something here in the city. And my friend was like, yeah, I work at Eagle Academy, but I know this other location that needs a dance teacher. And I worked there for 5 long years. During that process, I actually started teaching at Brick House because of Charles Smith. Charles Smith was back and forth between Florida and New York. And he had actually gotten an opportunity that like he could no longer teach at the studio. So he had me sub his class. And then like a week later, he was like, do you want to take over my slot? And I've been teaching at Brick House for the last 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And my slot has went from Fridays at 5 p.m. to Fridays at 9 to Wednesdays at 4 to Tuesdays at 3 to 4:30. I had a lot of different slots, but all that time, it allowed different walks of life to come and take my class.
Right.
I got a lot of the international girls, Germany, France, Uruguay, Peru, Brazil, Italy, Spain. All the girls come take my class at Brick House. They're either here on vacation, they're either here for the BDC program, and they're looking for outside classes to take. Brick House has been like a real good like experience for me.
And you know what? Looking through your classes, you have like a lot of people who show up. What is on average?
Well, at first it wasn't like that.
Okay.
I was getting the most, I would say 6 to 8 people per week.
Okay, that's still a good number.
Right. And then there were times where only 2 or 3 people would show up, but I would stay and still teach those 2 or 3 people. Because sometimes I ain't going to teach for just 2 people. Like, child, you don't have me come all the way from the Bronx to Manhattan to come and teach these 2 people. But
would you have canceled class if it was only 2 people?
You know,
back
then I might have, but over the years, those same 2 people were coming weekly. So I'm like, you know what?
Show up.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
They showing up for me, so I'm gonna show up for them. So
and they look to you and see your talent, and it inspires them.
I want to say, COVID, I was teaching online. I had a good amount of students, but then COVID happened, and then it was like, okay, I ain't got nobody. I'm doing the Zoom classes, and I had this one lady from Japan in her 40s taking my class on Zoom. They opened stuff up. She flew to America and took my class.
Wow.
So then I
That
started
has to
doing this
feel
thing,
good.
and a lot of people also weren't coming to class because I didn't film class. It's important that you got to film class and have content. But I'm a choreographer, but I don't play that. I'm old school. Ain't no videos, ain't none of that. If I record, then I'll record. Don't ask me for the video. I'll send it to you when you get it. But, you know, I decided to record her, and I watched her dance 2 left feet. 3 months later, she had a little rhythm. 6 months later, she started looking like me.
Wow.
So I'm posting that, and I think people started to see that, like, oh, there's real growth in this class. So more and more people. So it went from 4 to 6 to 6 to 8, from 6 to 8 to 10 to 12. And then I started getting all the international girls. And I would think it was around 2021. I had did the last class of the year for 2021. And it was packed. I had 24 people in class.
Wow.
I was like, oh, gag. And then 2022 came. The whole year, packed. 2023, packed, more and more. This year, packed. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I had 30 people in class.
Wow.
That's the most people that I've ever had in class, ever.
And just to let people know, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot,
like
because
a dance space, a studio.
And money-wise, you don't make a lot of money. You have to have those numbers in order to make over $100.
Yeah.
So, and I get paid every 2 weeks from the studio. So my last check, not to divulge too much, but my last check was like 500 girls.
Wow.
Just for those 30 people. And they take half.
Oh, wow.
The studio takes half. So,
wow.
Or they get a percentage of it. So that means I made like what, $1,000, and they took half of that. Like, that's great for me. I'm making money, and I'm able to sustain a life off of just teaching. But that comes with me being consistent. That comes with me being diverse in my teachings, making sure that I'm actually teaching you something more than just steps. And I think that's why my brick house classes have been so successful.
Before we continue with our conversation, here's a clip from the film Peace.
You what?
Always into the day I die.
I branded myself as a heels dancer. And so when I first got into New York, I started dancing in heels, but I had later met Atoro Lyons, who started a dance company full of queer artists. And we were primarily dancing in heels. It was called The Fraternity, which was a sub company of The Dollhouse, which was a pre-existing like burlesque, like a hip hop burlesque dance company. Yeah,
that's a combination.
And they brought out a lot of like the girls that dance for like Beyonce, like Mandy, Danae, Kaysen, Ashley Cruz. They produced a lot of good dancers, but Atoro, he started The Fraternity. I had known Atoro because we had did a gig. We had did the what is it? The Miyake Mugler Ball, the first one at Melrose Ballroom. And they had Robert Pattinson there, FKA Twigs. They had Rihanna there. That's when she first got inducted into the house. Or she made her appearance as a Miyake Mugler, rather. The second time I worked with Atoro was at the second Miyake Mugler Ball, which was at PlayStation Theater in Times Square.
Oh, wow.
That's where Rihanna had gave away that $10,000 face category prize, the grand prize for face.
Oh, wow.
Sponsored by Fenty. We had shot the music video for the song Face, which is performed by Margie Plus. I choreographed for Margie Plus.
Oh, so that's how you know her.
That's how I know her, because Atoro at the first one had Margie there. This was her first performance as a Miyake Mugler as well. she needed
Oh, she's a Mugler?
Yeah, she's a Mugler.
Oh, wow.
She had just got it because Yusuf is her father, her gay father. So um, Yusuf brought her in. Um, they needed a choreographer, and Latoro couldn't do it because he was choreographing Grand March. And so he was like, JadaSean, can you do this for me? Like, assist me with this, and I'll see what it looks like, and then I'll let you know if anything needs to be changed. And then he loved it, and then we performed that night, and ever since then I've been choreographing for her. So we performed at the last Mugler Ball, which they filmed the music video for the song, and the song Face is used for the TV show House on Fire.
Oh, wow.
On Wow Network. So it's a pretty fun relationship. I've, been going to ESCOs. I was going to ESCOs when I first got into the scene. Somebody brought me into the scene because they saw that I danced and they knew that I danced, but I wasn't necessarily into voguing like that. Like my family friend, he had shown me Pony Zion, and I was just like, nah, that's too feminine. That's too feminine for me.
But it's interesting because like he doesn't give that
he doesn't give that presentation.
He's like this petite, like,
yes,
but at the same time, like fit guy, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, I think I could do that. Like, But then I saw it in person. I was like, oh my god, this is cool. Mm-hmm. Like this is great. I want to do that. I had first got inducted into a Kiki house where they trained me, taught me how to walk a ball. They wanted me to walk Sex Siren at the time, Catboy Sex Siren. I was in the house of Ivisu, which is now Lanvin. I believe so. And they had me walk a Rumble Ball. I walked the New York Awards Ball. And I had walked another ball. But yeah. Shout out to Escuelitas for being like my first, ballroom experience in person. And then what else?
Like Escuelitas was just like there was like an era of like Escuelitas, El Morocco,
Splash,
XL,
XL. And I met a lot of great people. So like Justin, he was a con, but then he became a LaBeija, and now he has his own house, Babylon. And Omario Ricci, he was a Mizrahi, and he has his own house now, and they're all doing great. Omari's choreographing the new Broadway play Cats.
Oh wow!
Yeah, him and Atoro, they both choreographed the new Cats, and they just got extended. So extra shows. I got to get my tickets so I can go see it. Nothing but great reviews from that, but it's so good to see how ballroom's being used commercially. Mm-hmm. Who else? Like, I've just always been around. Like, I'm always around. Like, I frequent OTA, but not a lot, not as much as I want to. But I will pop out to OTA. Shout out Lego. Shout out the whole OTA staff, Pharrell, all the DJs. Shout out DJ Mike Q. Baby, Mike Q has produced some of the best Vogue beats I've ever heard in my life. And I don't care how old this one is, but feels like I'm going in circles. That is the holy grail. Wow. I don't care what nobody say. That beat gets me going every time. There have been days where I've just been pissed. And then I'll put that on, and I got up, and I'm like, feels like I'm going in. Because, baby, like, Mike Q is one of the best DJs, and he's so down to earth. He was also someone that was around for my beginning days in ballroom, from going to, like, he used to, what was it? Ghetto Gothic? The Globe in Newark. He used to DJ there. All the gay clubs he was DJing at that I would go to and watch him spin. And to see his growth as well, being a DJ and crossing over into mainstream DJing and working with like Mad DeSean and Natus and Diplo and all these other major DJs and artists. Even his beat with Kevin Aviance is featured on Beyonce. It should take $1 billion. This good. Feels like to the that's Kevin in the background.
Oh, wow.
Kevin Jay-Z, but they also used the Cunt T by Kevin Aviance. But I know the remix that Beyonce used was Mike Q's. So I'm like, work Mike Q. Shout out Mike Q. You worked with Queen B, baby.
Wow.
So, you know, that's my little connection to Ballroom. I feel like I'll always be connected to Ballroom because I'm just around and
you're adjacent to it.
Yeah, I'm adjacent to it. Plus, there's like other dance companies that I work with, like the Masters at Work. Shout out to Courtney. She's an amazing choreographer. I feel like she's an amazing person. If she has gay children, she's an amazing gay mother because of just how caring and into her children she is, and how she doesn't let anybody like be down on themselves. And if they're going to be hard on themselves, they're going to be hard on themselves in a good way, to where they're pushing themselves. And Courtney really pushes her dancers to be more than just ballroom, and she pushes them to be more than just who they see themselves as. I appreciate Courtney's energy because she's always inviting me out too. Toro has always been inviting. I got to choreograph with the Toro, assist him a few times. And I think one of the jobs that I did was I got to do the H&M and Balmain fashion show. And Kevin was the commentator on the job. And then we had people like Naomi on the job, a few other ballroom girls on the job. So being able to work with them in that light and do Vogue on that kind of platform was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
You know, you are constantly in good company, and you know, stepping away from doing ballroom, you also gotten the opportunity, as mentioned before, to work on the Brooklyn Nets team Hype.
Yes.
Like that is, I mean, that's like such a statement of New York City in a way.
Yeah.
Actually, it is, in terms of like basketball.
Yeah, so the Brooklyn Nets is the leading, like their entertainment team is the leading entertainment team in the whole NBA.
Oh, wow.
Like every basketball team now either has a hype team or they are looking to build a hype team. Simply because the Brooklyn Nets had one, and they're amazing. Like,
what is the difference between like Brooklyn Nets and like the and then the Knicks NBA? Is the Brooklyn Nets part of?
No.
Okay.
So
you're teaching me a lot.
Team. So like, I've known of the Brooklyn Nets for the last 12 years since they moved from Jersey to New York.
I know about them because of Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Yes, and so they bought the seats. Remember, they did the opening. They did that concert there that one time.
Have you gotten the chance to like see her in the audience?
No, okay. They don't come out. It's very rare. I haven't experienced that yet, but I've experienced a few other celebrities like French, Tyler, Queen Latifah, Tyra Banks.
Oh wow!
You know, the girls be popping out. But B&J, we hope to come.
Continue being up to date with all things peace by following the links attached to this episode. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's wrap up the show.
I have like a few more questions for you.
That's fine.
I mean, because we could keep all
day.
Chatting. Yeah. Well, I wanted to know about. Well, I have to ask this question because I'm curious. You briefly spoke about it, but what has it been your interactions with JadaKiss?
Ciao. Jada's great. So every time I've met him, it's been on a professional job and literally random. JadaKiss is probably my favorite rapper, him and Styles P. But it's totally random. The first
Styles
time
P's got to perform at
yes, yeah. And that was another full circle moment, like dancing halftime with Styles P at the Brooklyn Nets. So that was like, oh, I completed the pack because you know you got Styles P, JadaKiss, The Lox. But Jada, the first time I met him was I had just graduated. It was like 2010. This boy from my school, he was having a birthday party, and he had Roxy at the time from 106 & Park host.
Wow.
He had this really big DJ from Jersey, DJ J Hood.
Mm-hmm.
He was a DJ, and because his dad was like a producer, so he worked at a label. So he had Jada come through and perform for the kid's birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, the kid, he wanted to be an artist. So I choreographed his set.
Oh, wow.
And then Jada had performed after him.
That's lit.
And it was like, okay, JadaKiss.
Uh-huh.
Years later, I'm in the city now. I'm at Ripley Grill Studios, and I meet one of my really close friends now. He's an aspiring artist, Devin Angel. He ends up having a single with JadaKiss called On My Body.
Oh, wow.
And so his manager had hit me up and was like, hey, I want you to see what you can do to this song and let me know what your rates would be to choreograph. And Devin had also sent me the song, and he had explained it to me, but I didn't really get the information until his manager told me.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the record release party, Jada's there. And I'm like, Jada? He's like, I recognize you. I was like, yeah, we've done this, that, and the third together. He's like, oh, work. And then the third time, I was dating somebody at the time, and he was a personal assistant for Eve.
Mm.
So they were doing the Rough Riders reunion tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having rehearsals. I was inside the studio, Sir Studios, where they were having rehearsals, and there's just this cloud of smoke that is like seeping into the studio. And I'm like, that smells so good. Ooh, who in this? Ooh, they got the Jones. They got the Jones.
I just think of like an animated version of someone floating up.
Literally that. The door opens, is Jada and all of them coming to say hi to Eve.
Oh my God.
And I'm looking at him like, this is the third time, bro. The third time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last time, what was the last time I saw Jada? I feel like the last time was, I forget which event it was, but we were at an event. Every time I run into him, it's just been good energy, but he's remembered me every time from the time before. So that experience, like, and like being able to like smoke with him, I was like, okay, work.
Wow.
One of my dreams, not one of my dreams, but you know, like,
it's just like,
that's just like a moment, like,
yeah.
damn, this is my life. Like, wow.
But you know what though? Like that goes into, I often say this, like people don't believe that like heterosexual Black men and same gender loving Black men could share space that could support each other and chill. Like, and I feel like it's such a crazy concept that people have, but you're a testament to that. That you're in a lot of spaces where like you're the only person and you're like, I'm here, we can get along, we can be a community, we can support one another.
Well, like my family, my best friend, his family like took me in. They treated me like their own, and they all straight. Like all his friends and our friends together, they were all straight. So I was the only gay kid out of the group. But seeing how they were so tolerant and accepting of me, I lived my life like that. Like, I'm gonna be gay. I'm gonna be one of the girls. Don't mean I want to like sleep with you or I'm trying to anything funny with you. I can exist in the space with you, get jobs done, or do what I gotta do and still, you know, be myself. I don't have to, you know, be the loudest person in the room for attention. And, you know, because I also realized that my energy is not for everybody, and not everybody can handle my energy. So I only put myself in spaces where I am accepted and my energy is going to be reciprocated.
Of course.
And because of my upbringing and what I'm used to, you know, I know that that exists. I know that you can be around heterosexual men and it be regular. You can have regular conversation. You can have regular friendships with them. It could be strictly platonic. You can have the same interest as somebody that's heterosexual or homosexual and it not be weird. Like, it doesn't have to be weird. None of it has to be weird. But, you know, some people make it weird. And in the Black community, you know, it's a lot of stigma. We're still trying to break our people out of that
Right.
that mindset of being queer and it being wrong, and uh, we don't act like that, or we can't be friends with you if you no. We're seeing.
We live in the same
Yeah,
neighborhoods. We're family. Like, it's just
we know the
ridiculous.
same people,
Right.
but you know what's funny? It's happened where they'll act like, no, I can't be friends with you, but then we end up at like a family function together, or we know the same people, and then they're like having conversations, and then they realize that I'm like just a regular person,
Right.
or I like the same things that they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not sexual in nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think once they realize, oh, this person isn't trying to sleep with me, or oh, it's not that bad, this person is educated, or they're not like the stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, then I can rock with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there is a place for that now.
Mm-hmm.
The girls like to try and, test the water. So it, it's a double-edged sword sometimes,
mm-hmm.
because
But that
even
doesn't speak
if
to
it's a
everyone.
platonic friendship,
Right.
from the outside looking in, public perception, people will be like, oh, you're gay by association, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Or the assumption is, oh, if they're spending a lot of time with the gay person, they're hetero, then they must be fucking on the low.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
Could be the case, but it's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
We know about DL and stuff, but now in the last few years, like even more bisexual men coming out as bisexual, that's never been a thing, especially in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
So we're starting to see that people are starting to be more open, and that they're starting to take away the stigmas of certain things and see people for being people and humans.
And that's what he did when you guys smoked.
Yeah, like it was just regular shit, like
like uptown dudes. Because is he from Harlem?
No, he's from Yonkers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's in New York. He's not a Hollywood person. Like, he's in New York. He's very down to earth.
Uh-huh.
And even those moments, it wasn't like a moment where we're best friends now and we call each other, but it was a moment where it was special to us.
Right.
And so anytime we see each other, it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, yo, Jada's my best friend.
But you're just in the community.
But we're two people that can coexist and have a respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an OG. He's somebody an OG in the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
I bow to that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit there and try to, like, make him feel bad for not, talking to me, or I get it. I know how the industry goes.
Right.
But also, there is room and space for those kind of connections, or people meeting in that way so they can potentially work together or develop some type of business or job together, or something like that, along the lines of that. But that was a fun experience, and I've had plenty of experiences like that too. Where...
And you also had the experience to, like, as you mentioned before, work with Teyana Taylor, another person from New York.
That one, I feel like God blessed me with so many things because he just knew that that's what I needed. And Teyana was one of those things that I needed, because I had just, I think I auditioned for an agency that year. And I didn't get signed to the agency. And I was just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna dance and teach my kids, and I guess that's gonna be my life. But she had messaged me on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah. So I knew her best friend Eli at the time. Eli and I used to hang out because my mom used to do his aunt's hair. So his aunt was like, oh, I got a nephew that dance. So she would bring him with her. So that's how we connected. And he showed me Teyana's videos, like when she was dancing with Matthew Pastorista and other choreographers. Like, that girl could dance. So I've always known of her, just never really met her. I knew about her from her Sweet 16.
Right, we all
did.
Yeah,
right. So like that was the first introduction to her. Plus me going back and forth to New York, I was seeing her at the Light Feed events, at the public schools in Harlem, or just different events that Harlem would host or Uptown would host. So I had knew of her, never spoke to her, nothing. 2017, she followed me on Instagram. I was like, bitch. And I remember why she followed me, because I had posted a picture of Michael Jackson and Prince, and it's Prince with the lollipop and Michael Jackson with the bomber jacket. And they're both walking together. And I was like, this is me and Bae. And she commented under like, bitch, this is a whole key. I'm like, oh shit, she commented on my shit. Okay, great. She liked it. 2 weeks later, she followed me. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks, girl. Then March of 2019, I got the DM. Come to my audition. First in 2014, I auditioned for her. This is when she dropped Please Don't Disturb, Do Not Disturb, that song with Chris Brown. She dropped that, and she dropped that song Maybe with Pusha T. So I went to the audition. I didn't make it. A week later, I was in rehearsal with Toro at Ripley Greer, and I go outside to get water. I'm sitting down, catching my breath. She comes out of the studio across. So like, my dance studio is where you're sitting, and then her dance studio is like adjacent, but on the other, like coming this way. So I'm sitting, and then she comes out the room, and she's like, I know you. I was like, yeah, I auditioned for you, and then I know Eli. She's like, yeah. Eli showed me your videos, and I didn't book you because I thought you were a signed dancer. Like, a lot of artists don't like using agency dancers because it's a whole process, and it's a lot that goes with it.
Yeah.
That's another story. But like, she was like, yeah, we're going to work together one day though. This is 2014. She dropped the video for Maybe. I was like, dang, I was there when she was rehearsing that.
Damn.
Didn't think anything of it.
Uh-huh.
She messaged me in 2019 of March. And I was like, yeah, girl, what's up? She was like, come to my audition. I was like, do I need to bring heels? She was like, no, I already know you can dance in heels. Just come through. Came to the audition. There was 1,000 people there. We literally had to book 4 separate rooms. So there was 2 main big rooms and like 1 small room and another medium holding room. She was teaching the choreo, but it was too much, like too many people. So instead of her teaching the choreography, mind you, she taught the choreography herself. It's all in the Assembly Required documentary that she did with Red Bull. It's on YouTube. Look it up. Assembly Required, The House of Petunia. She asked me and like 3 other dancers to go into each room and teach the choreo. Wow. So we learned it, and then she had us go to the other rooms and teach it, just to expedite the audition process. Made it all the way to the end. She comes up to me, gives me a hug. She's like, look, you got it. I need you to calm down because you got a lot of energy. And baby, you'll see it on the tour, on one of the shows. My head was whipped. Like, she was whipping. So I understood what she was talking about. But like, after the audition, she was like, I know what you're capable of. You ain't got to prove yourself. I just want you to finesse it and like really feel yourself. And ever since then, it was like, yeah, we danced, and COVID happened, and yeah, then she went back on tour, was involved a little bit with that, but my time with her was just always so good. She made sure that we were taken care of. She made sure that the dancers had food. There was we were in Atlanta, and they had ramen and like Cliff Bars and like candy for us to eat. That's wild. Mind you, we had got off the plane, went straight to the production studio to rehearse, and didn't leave that night until like midnight. But she was like, nah, they not eating this. She called somebody from Atlanta that she knew, and we ended up with stuffed salmon, fettuccine Alfredo, garlic bread, mac and cheese. Like, she fed us. And I was like, girl, you really do care about your dancers. That's one thing about her as an artist. She makes sure that her dancers are taken care of and that we feel safe in her space.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been supportive of me. She's always been supportive of like anything that I've done outside of her. Even after us working together, she still kept in contact, still keeps in contact with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about her because she's so down to earth. She's so genuine. She's a celebrity, but she knows how to be a real person. She's maintained that balance between her personal and professional.
I think that's like her Harlemness, because it's
Yeah,
interesting.
real Harlem,
I
real
like.
uptown.
I actually went to. I don't think she remembers me, but I went to elementary school with her years ago, and I just remember then, like when everybody was talking about her Sweet 16, I was like, "Who are they talking about?" And then when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, that girl I went to," and it was like I went to elementary school with her twice. It was the first time in PS50. Then I don't think people know that she like went to school in the Bronx for a year, and we were in the same school. So it's just to hear that is just like,
you know, the 6 degrees of separation.
yeah.
But she's always just been great to me. Like, this is one picture. Like, I have a wall of photos, and there's this one picture of us together at was it her birthday? I think it was her. No, I posted it on her birthday. We went bowling one night, and like, she's just embracing me in the picture, and I'm like, dang. I look at it every time. I'm like, I'm really like with T, even though she's a regular person and she's so down to earth. I look at her as somebody that's up there because of the work she's put in, and I grew up watching her. Same thing with Todrick. Todrick's a little different, but like I grew up watching Todrick and his come up. So being able to work and be in a music video with him was just like, dang, like these celebrities or these people like to use me and work with me. But Teyana was probably like one of my favorites to work with, just because of who she is and our relationship
and the relatability.
And that was the thing too. Like, a lot of people didn't know that part about the audition where she hit me up. I didn't. Like, people were sending me the flyer, but she sent me the flyer herself and she hit me up.
Wow.
But I didn't make it hot where, oh, I'm here because Teyana told me to be here. No, I still did my part as a person that's auditioning, and still had to audition, still had to perform, still had to go through the callback and audition again. So, but I appreciate the fact that she looked out for me, and I appreciate that she was in my corner throughout the whole process of us like doing all the shows, the different cities, like just accommodating me and making sure that I'm good, being just like a positive force in my dance journey.
You know, it just goes into what I was saying earlier. Like your skill set is your superpower. Like, and it's bigger than you.
Yeah, I've gotten 100% of the jobs purely off of who I am as a person and as a dancer.
And that's so beautiful.
Yeah, because I don't have an agent. I'm not signed. I will be signed to an agent soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But I've done all of this without an agency.
That's incredible.
So for a celebrity to go out of their way and recognize my talent and then use that talent and allow me to use my talents on their platform is an amazing feeling.
What do you wish that you knew earlier that you know now, or wish you would have been told while you were in the process of becoming the person you are now?
That rent in New York is fucking crazy, and it's gonna get even crazier.
Oh my god!
Because I would have kept my black ass in Jersey, but I was not dealing with that commute anymore, so that's why I moved over here. But on a serious note, just not to take anything personal. Like, it's never about me. Like you said, it's bigger than me.
And I just say that because, like, the way how you tell your stories is like you move with such grace, literally, and it's like it's brought you into places that you were not sure you were ready for. But like, I don't know if you believe in the higher powers, God, or whatever it is, but they're working out there literally on you. You like, I don't know.
It's so funny because my grandmother had passed away in 2014.
My condolences.
And I was going through like a very destructive period. And something had happened to where I literally had to stop myself. And when I stopped myself, I can hear my grandmother like nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I was like, I got to get my shit together. And, you know, over the years, it's just everything fell into place. And, you know, I believe my grandmother's guiding my steps. I believe my ancestors are guiding my steps. I believe God has everything preordained for me, that everything happens for a reason. Everything in my life has literally been set up. Even like where I live at now, where I was taking classes at is down the street from where I live at now.
Wow.
Where I was at as a kid, not even knowing that I was going to live in that area as an adult. But like little things like that just make me think that, hey, I was destined to be here.
Mm-hmm.
This was supposed to happen. That relationship failed because I was supposed to be in this one.
Mm.
That job didn't pan through because I was supposed to be in this one.
Mm.
I lost that friend because I need to make space for myself and the opportunities that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't do that if I'm attached to this, that, and the third.
Mm.
And I do appreciate my the higher beings for just looking out for me and not letting me give up on myself, because as much as I wanted to, there's a job that needed to be done. A family friend of mine, she's like, I admire you because you went through a whole bunch of shit and you never not once stopped dancing. Like, never have I ever stopped dancing. There's never been a moment, like, at one point I did have to take a month off. Every year I do a thing where I take a month off because I need to just reset. Mm-hmm. But that's just like on my own accord. But when things happen, I never stop. I never allow those outside things to take away from what I should be doing in that moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never stopped dancing. And she's like, you have such a resilience in you that, like, it makes me want to keep going. It makes me want to keep going for my daughter and my kids. Like, you showed me how to, like, keep going even though you ain't got money, or even though you don't have a place to stay. Like, there was a point in time where I was homeless for like 2 months. And then I found my apartment and a job within 2 months and was like, fuck that, I'm out of this. I'm not staying in this. Like, because there's no way that I can be stagnant. I don't like being stagnant. I don't like sitting still. Like, I need to be on the move all the time. I need to be doing something, because if I'm not, I'm just wasting away. I'm wasting my talents. I'm wasting time that I could be using to, you know, give back or inspire the next, or just to build myself up and get myself ready for the next stage of my life. But yeah, that's just been my overall experience in life, period, and dance.
Your story is so inspirational, and like the milestones that you've come across are just incredible. I am curious because these are my 2 final questions, because if I could, I'll steal you away and I'll be talking to you all day, because this is our first.
When we become friends, we're just gonna kiki.
Yes, please, please. So my final 2 questions for you, I'll start with the first one, is what does expansion look like? You've mentioned about, like, you know, wanting to open up a restaurant. Okay, like, I know that's happening. What else is going to
So expansion for me looks like starting a dance company, dedicated to training, mentorship, and outside of dance, just making sure that they have their finances, their mental, their physical, their emotional all intact. Because that's one thing that's missing from the industry that I wish they didn't make us pay for. Things that we should get for free. I definitely want to offer a program like that. Definitely the restaurant. I definitely want to travel the country, travel the world a little bit more, and choreograph in different countries and teach in different countries. A lot of my international students have been asking me to do that, so I think that's going to be happening within the next few years.
Not a few years, probably next few months.
I think so. Well, I ain't going nowhere unless it's on a vacation. We ain't got no games. But yeah, because actually somebody from Italy wants me to come and teach, and then Paris, they want me to come and teach too. So I'm like, all right, let me make time. Let me get the coins first, because I need my first work and check. Yeah, and then, you know, having my family and getting a house and living my life.
I love that. What would you say is the way you produce peace?
Um, Definitely listening to my gut.
Mm,
Because the more I listen to my gut, the less drama there is in my life.
mm,
And there have been times where, we're all young, we get hard-headed, we think we can do things on our own, and we make our own decisions, not knowing that those decisions are influenced by other people, or they're not really sound decisions. They're not decisions that we would be proud of. So in order to protect that, or to curate like a safe space for myself, I make sure I just listen. And even if somebody tells me something about myself that's like negative, I listen to that and I make necessary changes to fix that, because if that connection is important to me with that person, I fix it.
okay.
Um, and I'm a person that don't like to be in drama. I don't like to be dragged in drama, because once I'm in it, y'all not gonna like it. So, to avoid that and alleviate those kind of headaches, I surround myself with people that are on the same page as me, the same maturity level, that have goals, that are higher or bigger than mine, that make me want to like pull up. Just taking the time to take time to myself, like not dancing every day, because there's a point in time where I was dancing every day and I was stressed out. I was teaching at 6 different dance studios. Wow. Doing brick house and working professional jobs, and I was stressed out. There was no peace for me. So now just, taking those moments to sit down, and knowing that me sitting down is good for my health, not just me sitting down doing nothing, wasting away. But this is much needed rest. So like, just taking the time to rest my body, rest my mind, rest my spirit, be around people that can recharge me, that can pour into my cup. Um, and just speaking life into myself, and not being so hard on myself, because you can get caught up doing that. The pressure of life and the hustle and bustle of New York can really tear you down. And so you have to be able to build yourself back up and create the life that you want to have. So I've created the life that I want to have, or started creating that, and everything has just panned out so like effortlessly.
Yeah.
It's literally falling into my lap, and that's because I'm listening, taking time to breathe, taking time to just not surround myself with energy that doesn't feed me. If it's draining me, I'm away from it. I can't do people that are childish, that don't know accountability, no responsibility. Um, I'm not here for the mommy daddy issues. I'm not here for the trauma dumping. I'm not here for the gossip. I'm not here for the shade. I'm not here for a lot of the shit that would bring me into a negative space. And I also practice honesty and being clear when I speak, because that way there's no way you can confuse what I'm saying. I'm being straightforward, and I'm setting a boundary. Boundaries are so important, especially in your adult years. People feel so entitled to you, especially on social media. Um, just pacing myself how much I'm on social media as well. Anything that's a negative outside influence, I limit and I set a boundary. And if you cross that, baby, this is not the place for you.
I'm curious because, especially because I'm a student of life, and I'm interested in knowing your the way how you listen. Like, how do you listen to your gut? Like, what does that look like?
Well, usually if I want to go and do something that I shouldn't be doing, my stomach will literally be like, no.
So it's
like
literally
your body will literally tell you, no, that is not, because you know what's going to happen. Then your mind starts racing about like all of the different kinds of consequences that come with that decision. And I'm like, yeah, no, we ain't going to do that. We're going to go the other way. And there have been times where I've taken the other route and literally listened to my gut, and something literally happens where I was like, oh my God, because if I would have did that, I would have never made it for this. Or if I would have went out to that party and got drunk, I would have missed my call time for this. Not knowing that they changed the call time from 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. Type shit. So like,
damn,
you know, just listening. And I, like you said, like, I feel like the ancestors and people watching over me really set certain things in play. Or, you know, I'll talk about something, and I'll see something that I was talking about months later, and I'll be like, no, I'm not going to do it. But then months later I see it, I'm like, that's my sign, I should do it. Or if it's something like you giving me advice and you telling me, hey, I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what worked for me, and you're giving me advice and it's good advice, I listen to that, because sometimes my own advice and my own decisions, they're not the best. So getting outside opinion from someone that has the experience also helps in listening to them, because I don't know everything. I don't have the tools or the keys to everything. And so just listening to those OGs and my ancestors and my grandparents and the ones that are still here and my parents, like, they've all been through it. So just taking a little bit from what they're telling me and still, you know, making my own decision in the end of it.
yeah,
And just really making sure I'm not listening just because I want to get something out of it, but because it's beneficial to me. And it's okay to, you know, hear outside opinions and perspectives, and it's okay to make yourself vulnerable to different ideas and different things, and just being open-minded. And I think that's how I curate the peace and healthy practices for myself.
I love that. I'm receiving that. Thank you so much for sitting here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I mean, I'm so glad that we finally got to do this.
I'm gonna say this: you made me feel super comfortable. I feel like this is the most well-spoken I've been.
Oh, really?
First of all, I don't like my voice. When I hear this back, I'm like, ugh. But like, I just felt comfortable. Like, you make me feel comfortable, so I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love this for you. I love this for me. I'm working on my media training, my speech, my public speaking.
You're doing it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me, listeners and viewers.
Can you let the people know where they can follow you, where they can keep up with you,
Okay,
Mr. Justin DeSean?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram, Justin DeSean Official, JustinDeSean Official. Follow me, mainly on Instagram. I teach at Brick House, which is on 44th and 7th, right behind the Good Morning America building in Times Square. I'm there every Friday at 8 p.m. I'm also doing a throwback class series for the next 2 months. Those are on Wednesdays. Right now, they're from 6 to 8 p.m. At Ripley Greer Studio. I'm all over the city, so just catch me if you can. If you want me to come outside, because I don't go out to the clubs like that no more. You know, the club days. I did all that shit at Esco's when I was younger. But if you want me to pop out, send me a flyer, pop out. If you need advice on something, send me a DM. I'm always open. If I don't answer, I'm not ignoring you. I'm literally just busy. I'm booked and blessed, child. Just hit me up. Where else am I? Oh, and if you're in Jersey, I teach at the Hive Dance Studio on occasion, which is a really good dance studio. Shout out Katrina and Dozo, the owner of the Hive. She's amazing. She's great. So I'm teaching there tomorrow, and I'm teaching there the next few weeks. But like, yeah, hit me up. Follow me on Instagram. Shout out to, you, lovely star, beautiful, work, love the rainbow outfit.
Thank you.
Because Rainbow,
Thank you.
I'm telling y'all, Rainbow has saved my life. Okay, and you actually, I'm a big fan of people that can take a basic look and make it look like, like when you have that, that high class energy, like it's given, like, yeah, no. And
I had to show up
the
for
blue,
you.
the blue glass, like everything is just, yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
No, bitch, it was on. It's on brand. It's on brand. No,
thank you so much.
You look great. Your energy is great. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.